All right, episode 2 of Blood in Arenjun.
Yep.
We don't have one of our players with us tonight, so I'm in the unenviable position of trying to decide what to do. It is an urban environment, so I could have his character going occupied with something else, but at the same time we were in the adventure, that would be nonsensical. Yes, a wizard has a spell over you that boils your blood if you don't comply, and you go do something else other than what you were told. So I'm going to be in an unenviable position of having to role-play that character today. So I'm going to be role-playing Fredwin as well as Kanara and all the other NPCs. And if that proves to be a problem later, well, they should have been more clear about when they could and couldn't be a king.
Couldn't you just have Bridget end up in jail again? And be in jail for, I think.
If it were a whole new game session, sure. Because of the jailbird disadvantage that character has, that's why that's engineered every session. We have to roll to see if she's in jail. Hey, doggo.
Happy there's something out there.
But we're right in the middle of an evening, of like 2 or 3 in the evening, and she hasn't done anything to get thrown in jail right now. So as far as I'm concerned, she would realistically still be with the group.
Okay.
So that's where we're at. Are you going to wolf all night?
Just an idea. She's been very woofy lately.
Come here.
Such a strange kit, doggo. All right. There's nobody there.
What are you looking at?
No. Just thought I was thinking there and
Okay, so when we picked up, we had just gotten the mission from Yara, and we had just left. Actually, they put us back in the cart and dropped us back off where they got us, so we can actually know where we met him. All right, get used to this in Arenjun. There's lots of secrecy going on. The Zamarans have so much going on with plots and stuff that this kind of thing is common there. All right. So you exit the cart back where you picked up, and you now have a choice about how you're going to proceed. Now at this point, it's probably about, I would say probably about 10:30, going on 11 in the evening.
probably wouldn't do anything for me.
That doesn't shut down Arenjun. Arenjun is one of the few cities in the Hyborian world that has a nightlife. They never stop business in Arenjun. There's a place in Arenjun particularly called the Mall, where there's activity 24/7, which is where we were picked up, the Mall. It's also where most of the illegal activity is, and it is also the same district where the gladiatorial arena was. This being the city of thieves and nearly a third of the population involved in illegal activity, perhaps we want to jump on this mission as soon as possible, lest someone else get their hooks into it. What is the group's plan?
Can we get a recap of the mission?
So, Yara wants us to retrieve a thing called the Heart's Blood Diamond. And he's told us that the Heart's Blood Diamond is inside a cup. It actually sits inside the vessel part of the cup where the liquid goes. He's given us a scroll with an illustration of the cup, and we are to bring it back to him, or he will boil our blood and make us suffer.
I remember that.
Also, should anything happen to Yara, he's put a blood seal on the vials of our blood, that should something happen to Yara, the spell will go off on us for all eternity.
Not if I have something to say about it, I'm going to figure it out somehow. So, the cup was in the idiot guy that had us in the gladiatorial arena.
It was supposed to be in the auction, and it never made the auction list.
Yeah, so it either might be hidden somewhere still in the gladiatorial arena, because he might have stowed it away somewhere where
Okay,
he would know.
so this is one of the reasons why I need you to sit closer. Being in the rocking chair is fine, but you are not even showing up on the audio.
How about now?
How about we do this? How about we move these aside, or to the side lengthwise,
Excuse me.
and then you sit right up next to the table, sweetie. I realize it's an inconvenience, but otherwise I don't have a record of what we're saying and I'll forget. One of the reasons why I keep an audio record so I can listen to it between weeks and keep us on track with the story.
Okay, now you're playing a guy, right?
I'm playing a dude. how about now? Am I good?
No, you're still in the green.
I think I can only be in yellow if I'm like practically over the top of it.
No, you were in yellow last week. You just have to enunciate. Try again.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, see, there you're in yellow. Mott's going to stand a little closer to you.
You're throwing dice at me too.
You don't happen to have a chair. And I tell you, there's a reason why I was asked this. When I sit here, I get drowsy. And I get too comfortable here. I don't feel as engaged as opposed to I'm sitting, and I want to be more fully engaged in the game.
You do that.
The couch is lulling you to sleep.
It really does, because it's comfortable.
It's a very comfortable couch.
Especially after I just ate, too.
I have slept on the couch.
What's that?
I have slept on the couch.
Oh, I bet.
So
it's
it
comfortable.
is very comfortable.
There we go. See, this is how you should be playing.
All right. So, about keeping this stuff aside, what was your question?
So, my speculation is, well, there's several different things here. First of all, it may have never made the auction because he may have hidden it somewhere within his little building or something in a spot that only he would have access to and nobody else knew about. So that's option one. Option two is somebody made off with it before it could make the auction and whatnot. Or option three, maybe he put it in. I really severely doubt it because he doesn't cross me as that kind of person. But maybe he gave it to somebody to keep safe for him or something.
Fredwin says, if somebody's already made off with it, we are so screwed. We've got a necromancer, it's got our blood, and is willing to punish us with it for eternity if we don't bring this thing back. And we have no way to get the item.
Well,
I think the first thing we should do is we should make our way into his possession, into his house, and search his house.
Now, I might have an option. Folds up, shows the book, the journal. Mm-hmm. It's coded. If we could crack the code, this might have a clue as to where it's located. As well as other tasty information, but I have first dibs on any of that. Thank you.
This Carnara says, in the time period that I was a slave, my master often used the services of some very nefarious people. Remember, she's the former slave of the guy that's had the cup that's now deceased. Of some very nefarious people, and one of them was a scholar of forbidden lore. Perhaps he could crack the cipher and the code. And I'm going to step into Matt's role here for a second. Fredrin kind of puts her arm around her and goes, hey, it's okay. No one's going to hurt you here. You can speak your mind. It's very dangerous to speak one's mind in Zamora.
Can't exactly argue with that one, but... Do you happen to know the name of that individual that scholarly fellow or anything like that?
Mythicides, he's a disgraced Aquilonian disgraced Median that's made his way over here. I know how to get there.
Okay.
Let's pay him a visit.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So following Escanar's lead, you're finding yourself walking through the very crowded and scent-filled streets of Arenjun. In the mall particularly, light doesn't fall into the streets in the proper way. Because of all the candlelight and all the smoke, and the way light reflects off smoke, there's kind of always this really weird churrasco effect in the mall.
Churrasco?
Chiaroscuro.
Chiaroscuro,
Light
sorry.
and shadow.
It's where light and shadow kind of mix, and it's either listed light or it's dark. So everywhere you walk, you're feeling like you can't really see. The first thing that comes across you are the smells. There's smells everywhere because a lot of that smoke comes from cook fires and incense. So you're smelling perfumes. You're seeing brightly gaudy painted signs. I mean, at one point you pass a store with a bright vermilion sign that's advertising clothing, which is normally something you see in the higher class parts of the city, but everything filters into the mall at some point. The streets are incredibly crowded. Picture a very crowded New York street, but every 2 to 3 feet there's somebody standing or hawking or doing something. People are yelling for wares, other people are yelling for jobs. prostitutes are plying their trades, so were thieves, beggars, and men off duty. You'll see all kinds of people in the mall. You see nobles walking with the retinue around them to keep them from being robbed. You see the common people. I need a couple of rolls here. The first roll I need is I need a roll to see if your pocket gets plucked.
Oh boy.
Because you are in the mall.
That would be perception.
That is perception and awareness.
Right. Ooh, I got a +1. Nice.
You only need to get a success to prevent yourselves from being taken from.
Could I apply pickpocket since I have it?
Nope.
So sorry. So sorry.
Where did my dice go? Oh, you got my dice. I need these.
Well, you can have those.
Speaking of which, did you watch the battle system experiment, Red?
Ooh, I watched a few of them. Yeah, I have to admit I was kind of lost with them.
Yeah, I didn't do a good job of explaining what was going on. The next one I'm going to do is a land battle and between Stygians and the Shemites, and that one should be better. I'm going to do a naval battle with the Tigris.
Okay. I got a success, by the way.
5 and 4.
Yeah, I kind of didn't
All right.
make it either.
So, you feel a hand try to cut the purse. Now, a lot of people in the time period, and it varies where in Hybor you are, but in Zamora, pockets aren't really a thing. The council refer to cut purses. So a lot of people have like a rope belt they wear around their tunic, and then pouches hanging off the tunic, which is where the term cut purse comes from. You quickly take a knife and cut the rope with the sharp knife so he doesn't actually feel the purse leave his belt. And then you haul ass. You feel the jerking motion as someone inexpertly grabs the purse a little bit too quickly before they pull the knife out. Keep in mind this means the person is armed if trying to pluck it and do the whole cut the purse string thing. Boom! Alright, roll initiative. D6. Oh,
Yeah.
total of 7.
3.
3. So you feel the purse get snatched. You have just sometimes you turn to see a very short shadow, probably about this tall.
Oh, so I would have missed any.
All right, go running and weaving through the street, and your first thing is, oh shit, it's a kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, kid just picked your purse, and he's running into an alley. Do you follow him?
How much was in it?
We didn't have much. We had just gotten off of being slaves. You had like 20 electrum.
Probably not worth it.
My character's like money is money, so he probably would, but yeah. But real quick, since I do have the pickpocket skill, so I would understand how pickpocketing work. Would I be able to have my money, like have a fake pouch, and then have my money like tucked inside a jerkin or something?
Well, no one actually declared that, but what I will let you do is I'll make an intelligence and pickpocket roll. And if your intelligence and pickpocket gives you a heroic, you thought to do it.
Then again, ragely, I don't mind not waste time on a few shekels, but Kyle probably would say fuck that. Just on principle.
How are you going to pronounce it? Because we were pronouncing it Kale West.
No, Kale's fine.
Kale I like.
Kale's perfect.
No, still rolling really badly. I'm getting really annoyed by that.
Okay.
So no.
You see Fredgwin at some point during the trek through the crowded, smelly streets turn and just deck somebody. Because rather than try to grab her purse, he tried to goose her. In typical Vanier fashion, she does not take that well. Our red-headed Vanier smacks him with the left, grabs him with the right, and then headbutts him, and he hits the ground. And the street just kind of laughs, and at this point, she gets a dot of reputation. Arenjun will now know, hey, yeah, that one's not someone you want to try to... Right?
Maybe I'll just have her carry my money around.
And she looks at the party, and it's like, what? Meanwhile, the poor thief's lying in the mud of the street going, oh, you broke my nose!
Can I pickpocket the thief since he's...
Take a chip, that's good. Yes, you may try to pickpocket the thief while he's distracted. Since he's distracted, add 2 to your skill roll. You are, however, under mass surveillance. Everyone is watching.
I doubt they're gonna care.
So you're not caring about being detected so you can do it. You're just wanting to try to do it. Okay, see, I thought you were trying to do it unseen. If you just want to do it, then yeah, add 2 to the roll and let's see what happens.
What the hell's gonna stop me? He just tried to pick the pocket of that, so I'm picking his pocket. We're all thieves around here anyway.
That's fine.
I really, really doubt it.
You rolled a 5.
Huh?
On a d20 and a d6, you rolled a 5.
I know. I don't know what's going on with my D20s here. They just refuse to roll.
Did you offend the dice gods or something?
I don't know.
Did you not sacrifice enough gerbils?
Gerbils?
It's a joke of one of our former players. Which reminds me, I made a small, since I see your character sheet, I made a small error on your character sheets.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Oh, yes, I did. You notice there's not enough slots for everything, so I'm going to run off a new one here in just a second.
Okay.
Probably for next week.
No. I'm going to test a few of my other D20s to see if I get one that actually rolls well now.
So, you fail to pick the guy's pocket. He, like, shoos you away as he's holding his nose at the same time, having the presence to think about his cash. And Fredwin's like, I think we're getting delayed from our objective here. Let's get to the auction. Let's get to the scholar and move on. So the scholar doesn't live in the mall, but you have to go through the mall to get there. Once you exit the mall, and the mall's a really odd place. It's not like a modern urban blight ghetto, although that's how some people have tried to present it. It's more like what you saw in the movie. You have like overhangings everywhere. It's a very crowded area, but it's not a ghetto. I mean, the residents have a weird kind of pride about living there. Okay.
Is that like the slums in Brazil? What do they call those? They have a name.
To a degree.
Can't remember.
To a degree in that there's kind of a community spirit to it. The mall has a community spirit. I mean, if you live in the mall, you kind of take some weird perverse pride in that.
Okay.
But you're still thieving and competing with one another. But at the same time, 2 residents of the mall aren't likely to kill one another over stealing. As I said, not likely. It still happens, but it's not likely. If you give in, take the guy's coins, he knows you're going to rob from him next week. Right? Most of the problems of the mall come from when someone gets on somebody's nerves or brags too much, which is what happens in Tower of the Elephant story. Or foreigners. As you exit that section of the city, you come into an area of the city that's kind of more of the... Whereas the mall is where a lot of the working people and the working poor live. Right next to the mall, going out towards the east of Arenjun, you have the more respectable areas of the city. You have more like what would be like a market district in a modern city. If you think of like Main Street in Old Town Bradenton, you walk from somewhere that's like a very crowded urban center into that. Okay, so the street is wider. The night watch can actually see patrolling. There's room around them. You're no longer blocked in with sights and smells. It's a lot easier to spot things. And as you're walking through this part of the city, it's very clear, since you're dressed very poor, that you don't belong. And so the watch is watching you. Right? This makes Fredwin very nervous. You can see her constantly looking over her shoulder. She's just waiting for the next threat to come up because her blood would be up.
I elbow her and tell her to calm down.
She says something typically veneer of, "Don't touch me unless you wish to lose that hand, man."
I kind of need these hands.
Then be careful where you place them.
It was my elbow.
Iskanara steps around in front of her and goes, "It's okay," puts her hands on her cheeks. "It's okay. He's wanting you to blend, and you're not blending very well." And because it's the incredibly beautiful woman touching the character, so I've been declared to be a lesbian, the veneer is just like, pretty girl. Because, Iskanara has a charisma of 8. So she kind of now is putty in the dancer's hand as the dancer leads her through the streets. Iskanara leads you across the streets. Here the streets are actually tiled rather than muddy. The buildings are actually brick buildings rather than kind of like wide and double hollows. Imagine what the mall has. You go through the merchant district and you come to an area where you're near the northern gate of the city, and the merchant district there opens up. And near that northern gate, which has been closed for the night, there are a lot of watchmen. Because they're trying to catch smugglers. And since this is Arenjun, they're not trying to catch the smugglers to arrest them. They're trying to catch them to get their beak a little wet. One of the watchmen spots you and starts walking towards the party. What do you all do?
Well, running would be a very bad idea. So just, I guess, either walk up to him or just wait for him to arrive or something like that. I mean, the whole idea is to make it look like we're not about to do something.
Blend in.
Yeah, weird.
Of course, it's kind of interesting that he just spotted us, but...
Who knows?
There aren't that many people out in this area of the city.
No.
It's night.
New faces. Okay, so, yeah, just play it cool. We play it cool.
He comes over, and you can tell from the breastplate he's wearing, because it would have his rank and the city's thing stamped on it, that this is like the equivalent of like a police lieutenant. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you foreigners are aware, referring to you and the Valley are, but this area of the city does have a curfew.
When does the curfew expire?
The curfew actually went into effect about a quarter of an hour ago. May I ask where you all are headed? Escanara looks at you and sees that she's silently asking with her eyes. Make an intuition and a speech roll. See if you can get that she's asking, does she have permission to speak for the party?
Finally, of course it has to be a fucking 20 on a fucking intuition and speech roll.
Mine's a success.
You both understand that she's asking, can I speak for the party? And you nod.
Sure.
She says in fluent Zomarin to him, we're looking for this fellow at this particular place. We have an appointment. We're running a little late because we had to go through the mall, and you know how it is. The guard's like, the pretty girl. Yeah, would you all like an escort? I mean, we don't want anyone to rob you or anything. Oh, no, we can find our way. That's where we're headed. Yeah, that way, good, go. Thank you. And she gives him a demure little look. And outsiders tend to view Zomaran women as being slutty or loose because they dress very alluringly. But this is like a precursor to that gypsy tradition of the woman dresses alluring and revealing to attract a mate and attract attention, but doesn't actually do anything until she's married. Right? So she kind of gives him a flirty look, and you all walk off, and the guard's just smitten. He's like,
Hey,
Damn.
works. If we need a distraction and they swing her way,
she's a distraction.
Throw them
She
at
is
her.
a distraction. She is that. So you follow her, and she walks on her little lithe feet up to the sitting of a house. When you get there, there's guards outside the house. There's also these priests outside the house, and the Zomarans will recognize them immediately, but you may not. You may not be in the city long enough. Do you have any religion skill?
No.
Roll straight intelligence. Damn.
Partial.
Partial. You've seen these guys before. You know they're members of the Temple of Zath, but you're not quite sure what their role is. The Temple of Zath maintains its own secret police called the Silent Ones.
Oh, yay.
These are priests that wear a black robe with a red stripe, and they carry swords. There are two Silent Ones standing outside this mansion, along with the city watch and some of the temple guard, who are busy taking stuff out of the mansion and putting it up on carts. Scanara goes, oh no.
Which means he got...
He's run afoul of the temple.
Oh. Okay. Well, he's still alive, right?
I don't see
See
him.
you, I was about to say, see you, your scholar, girl. Good Sumerian talk.
I don't see him, no. They may have already carried him off to the temple for interrogation. And you sense that by that she means torture.
Oh, yay.
I don't think we're going to get anything out of the priests, especially not with the Silent Ones standing there. They terrify everyone. They are the will of Zath. They are his many eyes. Dread Zath speaks. There's like a moment of religious terror in her. And you need to roll too, because having grown up here, you're very familiar with this cult and what they do.
Am I wrong?
You are rolling your willpower and resolve to keep from being betrayed.
Oh, nice. The Silent Ones are the cult, or they're the...
The Silent Ones are the elite members of the cult.
Okay.
I'm cool as a cucumber.
Yep.
Zanayar goes, well, we need to know what they know. You know, I bet if I go up there, being a foreigner, they'll be a little more gracious with me and I may glean something of what's going on.
Give it a
She
shot.
puts an arm around you. Come on. And tags the Sumerian out into the alley and whispers, follow my lead.
Let's go.
She starts swaying like she's a little intoxicated.
I go with it.
Okay? Give me a charisma and acting roll. If you don't have acting, it's straight charisma. She starts singing a bawdy song in Zomaran, in her broken Zomaran, so that she can kind of be understood. And it's something about a shepherd boy and a dancer and what the dancer can do with her toes.
I gotta pee.
You got a partial?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're kind of a little rigid and stiff. it comes off right because basically the guards see you approaching. They think that basically you're the sober guy trying to get the drunk girl into bed. You all know she's like, "What? How am I supposed to get to work now? Get out of the way! I have to go to work." The guards look at each other, look at her, and look at you. What's this all about?
Stay your tongue, wench.
How am I supposed to clean the house if they're in the way? It's time to clean the house. I have to do it before dawn. Two guards look at each other. You can tell they're like asking, did we miss somebody? I guess we did. They are foreigners? Yeah. You see they're thinking of it back and forth. While they're doing that, I need a perception awareness so that you're watching the ground from you also, because we're all observing this area and trying to see what's going on.
I might be looking to see if there's like a back door, maybe
Exactly.
sneak into the house too.
So let me draw a little map here. So it's like, if here's the house, right? And it's not like you have rows of houses in this time period. You have houses with like yards and gates, right? It's like, here's the main street, and then here's the house you're going to. And Arenjun and Kale are coming this way, and there's guards outside here. There's a cart in the street. The silent ones are actually by the cart. Temple guards, everyone else just kind of all milling around the area. And Kale says what to the guards? Oh, I'm sorry. Your perception roll. You got a...
I had a 16, which is a heroic.
Okay. So you have the two guards outside the gate, which are the ones we're currently talking to.
Right.
The two silent ones by the cart, and there's other people coming out in the train from the house to the cart back and forth. There's also people milling about. The only people really watching is the two guards. The silent ones don't care. They're busy watching the street. So it's probably safe to like bullshit something to these guards.
Could you let this wench get in there and get what she needs so I don't have to deal with this all day?
One of the guards says, "Look, foreigners, I'm sorry, but you'd be better off finding somewhere else for your wench to be a maid. This one's not coming back."
Even more reason for her to get what she needs, because they're her personal belongings.
We can't really let her in. They kind of nod over to the silent ones. I mean, the man's on trial for necromancy. It's not something that we could just let you in. You could be... Please, it's all my gold that I have. You have no idea how many times that poor bastard used me to get it.
Since this guy seems like he's like halfway understandable, I look at him, look at her, and go like this.
Please. All right, quickly, and the guard hushes you in. So you have a couple of minutes to search the house real quick, but you don't know what you're looking for.
Right.
Right? Arenjun walks in, looks at you, goes, "What are we looking for?"
What the fuck are we looking for?
Well, we were hoping that the
We're
guy
hoping he would break the code.
break the code. So, since he's not there,
Sure,
you probably look for something
Codex?
that...
Can you read?
Yeah, my guy's literate.
Okay. Arenjun starts looking at the books and goes, "Curses! They're all in something that's not Zamorid!
Hold on, let me look.
Why can't people just speak proper veneer?" Give me a perception and awareness. The inside the house is piled full of scrolls and materials of scholarly nature.
Success.
You see various instruments that the purpose of which you can't divine.
Right.
You see tomes, scrolls, etc., etc. And on your success, you come across one small, slim tome that has script on it you recognize as being Aquilonian, but you can't speak the language. Right? But for some reason, your intuition goes, "This is what I want to grab."
I grab it.
Right? And it's not a very big book. It's probably about 6 inches by 4 inches, and probably about 2 inches thick. But it does feel new. Right? You open it up and you look, and it's like the pages aren't worn. There's no chipping in the pages. It looks brand new almost. I mean, they don't really have printing presses. Everything's done by hand. It looks like it was like freshly bound. This book can't be more than a couple of years old. And it does seem well thumbed because you see ink stains along the sides.
All right, I grab it and
Okay.
conceal it.
You take her back out, and she starts singing again, "Thank you" to the guard. And And as they're walking away, you see the guards watching you. One of the silent one comes over and actually smacks one of the guards in the hand, and the guard suddenly comes right to attention.
Just keep walking.
Keep walking.
Now, while they're busy doing that, you were looking for like back entrances, you said?
Yeah, something like that. I got a success.
So all houses would have back entrances for the servants, and there's also a back street back here. As you're looking through the back street, another perception and awareness to spot something. You may or may not spot it.
Probably not, but...
What about me? Do I roll?
No, because this is happening on the other side of the house. That's why I drew a quick map.
Nope, I am oblivious.
It's Kanara spots it, though, because she would go with you. She wouldn't be on the street alone.
Yeah, no.
So as you stealth your way over there, you're looking around. She hauls you and stops you, turns your character around, pushes you against the wall, and starts kissing you.
Oh, hell.
Feeling you up. Now, she's incredibly attractive.
I've got a
Will and resolve.
Yeah. Of course, I have an infatuation, too, so that doesn't help.
Ooh.
You only need a success because she's not really trying to seduce you. You can sense that this is all play, but it still feels really good.
I managed to get a success on that one.
She goes with it.
As you're kissing her and feeling each other up, you look over and you see what it was she paused you. There's an area of shadow across the street. And it's not natural.
Oh, dear.
It's moving in ways that let you know that it is not caused by any regular object or any person. And at one point, the shadow from the ground begins to filter up, and standing there's a nude, beautiful, redhead woman. She looks around the street for a little bit. You catch a glimmer of her eyes, and her eyes are golden, as in the metallic color gold.
Would I know anything based off my occult knowledge?
Do you have any demonology?
No.
So you're rolling your occult and intelligence at -6.
Probably not. Yeah, because I'd be rolling on column 1, so no.
You realize it's not human, but you have no idea what it is. It looks around the street for a few moments, sees the two of you, tilts its head a little bit, sniffs the air, and then disappears back into a smoky cloud that rushes across the street and filters into the house.
Okay, that was
Going
a little...
through a second-story window.
That was a little disturbing.
That one requires another will and resolve to resist fear. Go! You fumble.
Why? Do you have some... Can I borrow some of your D6? Because my D6 are just cursed.
That's not a D6, honey. That's a D20.
I meant D20. You know what I was talking about.
I do know what you're talking about. Would you like to borrow one of my D20s?
Let me borrow several.
All right. Let's try those out. See which one works. While she's testing those, your character will be intimidated and unable to move for 2 rounds. So for 20 seconds, she'll like, because there is a bit of superstitious dread in the Hyborian culture. And so you just saw something that's clearly not human fly into smoke in through the window.
What's your character's name?
Volley.
Volley.
As Kanara whispers, "Is it gone?"
Am I still paralyzed?
Yeah, but you have to ham up being. You really can't move. You can't leave the scene. You can't really act aggressively, but you can speak. But I do need you to play up the fear factor of the thing because your character is afraid.
Fuck. What the fuck was that? What the just went through the fucking... What the fuck?
Hey! She tries to get her attention. Hey, calm down. What in Zath's name was that? Zath is the local Zamoran god.
What do I know? It wasn't human.
You looked human.
You're the wizard, aren't you? You should know.
I'm not what that.
And she's shaking too. She's like, I saw the smoke move, and I did. And so for a couple rounds, you both sitting there very scared. After you get over your fear, you're able to act normally. We should go. We should get out of here.
Yeah, just grab hold of her hand and start hauling her back to the other street. Like,
Okay.
and hope the hell the other two go.
When you two come back,
no.
they're where you left them. They're both shaking and scared. And Iskanara looks like she's about to cry again. What do you do?
Ask him, what ails you?
We saw a monster.
Where?
It flew in through the window of the house. It turned into smoke and just...
Get a hold of yourself.
Went through the...
After Thrang, this should be nothing.
Excuse me.
Thrad.
Thrad. Right.
Thrad didn't turn into smoke and go through a window.
And Thrad was a gentle soul, says Escanara.
Oh, that's poor Thrad.
Fredrin's like, oh yes, so gentle when he was beating the snot out of us. She looks at you and gives you looks up to say, Southerners.
Oh.
Okay, remember, you're both Nordheimer.
Yep.
Well, she's Nordheimer. She considers you basically Nordheimer by default because you're Sumerian.
So did it go into the place where we're going?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
just came out of.
So we have a way in.
I'm not going in there while that thing's in there.
Thanayar's like, I don't know if we should go in there while there's a monster in there, and we are woefully underarmed and underarmored. I mean, I don't mind going to Valhalla, but if you show up because you were stupid, they laugh at you for all of eternity. And I ain't gonna be Amer's Amer. I ain't gonna be Amer's fool for all eternity.
Did you at least find something? Well, look at it.
You can read it. It's a basic book on demonology.
Oh, now you've got it.
So Aquilonia is it's moving towards a theocracy, but at the moment it's not. Before that, they were doing heavy trade from the Medians, who are very versed in magic. And this is a basic book from an Aquilonian standpoint on demonology. It happens to have notes in the side that are written in Zomaran. The book itself is written in Aquilonian.
Huh.
You obviously can read Zomaran because it's your native language. You can kind of make out what the Aquilonian says because there's enough like magical terms that are in all the languages from a former language that you recognize, okay, well, this is about this concept, this is about that concept.
Okay.
You now have a resource that when you go to research demonology, you get a +1. Now, that's not much, considering you don't have a demonology skill, but it's still a little bit of bonus, and every little bit counts.
Yeah.
Right? I write this down as Mithridates' journal.
Well, I already put the book on demonology on there. So.
Okay, that works too.
Okay.
This thing's probably going in there to assassinate him or kidnap him.
You do notice, however, that on the flyleaf, there's a couple of pages about how to break codes.
Ooh.
Because most grimoires are written in them.
Okay. So it might have what we need to.
It might have what you need.
The cipher. So it's not a complete loss.
Nope.
So I suggest we probably head back somewhere, like rooms or something like that. So I guess my character would be the one trying to break the code.
Fredrin's like, I have no objections to us spending some time to collect our thoughts and try to get more intelligence. But we need to maximize our time. We really should check the auction house and see if it's hidden somewhere in the auction house and they just missed it. There were a lot of people there back and forth.
Okay.
If it's hidden somewhere on the ground, so we might spot it and the whole thing might be over.
Okay, so
Let's do it.
2 goes to the auction house, 2 stay and...
I think it's a very bad idea to split up in this city. The fewer we are in number, the easier we are to take advantage of in the mall. Remember, the auction house is back in the mall. We have to go back to the mall anyway. That's where we all reside.
Okay.
So we all move together as a group?
I suppose.
Let's
I
do
don't
it.
know when I'm going to try to crack the code during this time, but okay.
You can crack it after.
Mm.
Right. All right, so you walk back to the mall. It's now getting towards midnight. As you walk back to the mall's life now is right at the peak of its activity. There are people on the street selling wares, people trying to come into various inns. The Wretched Whore, which is the inn you met your contact at, is actually just about a quarter of a mile from the auction house, because the mall is a very small district.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to the auction house, there are people, I should say the gladiatorial arena is where they're having the auction. There's some people still milling about. There are people outside. You see the normal beggars and people down their luck and the like. You don't see any watch because I feel like there's no reason to be here. It's all going to be clean by midnight anyway. They got better things to do. I need another perception awareness as you approach the site to see if you notice anything untoward or that could be hazardous to the group. Okay. I'm to add your d6.
Success.
Okay. You see a guy outside the auction house. He's not actually outside the house in particular, outside the gladiatorial. I keep calling it the auction house. Outside the gladiatorial arena. But he's across the street, right by the edge of a building, and he's clearly watching the building and watching the street, see who's going in and out. And you've not seen him before, so you're not sure who he is. But something about him conjures up the image of, maybe this is somebody watching the property who goes in and out. You have a, what total?
23.
Which on your chart is a... I'm asking for your total. I'm always asking for the degree of success. The dots.
Perception 6. Legendary.
Wow. Okay, so you also spot the guy outside. He's an indigo falcon. You catch a bit of maybe one of the purplish scarves in his pocket. You don't see anyone else outside the front of the building, but he will see if you go in. It is reasonable to assume that if he's watching this side, there's probably one of his gang watching every side of this building. Now, these are the guys that were originally commissioned to guard the property.
Now, is he by himself there at that particular spot?
Yeah. I'm going to need the table clear, guys. Go ahead and take the lamp and set it on the couch. Take this lengthwise across the table.
Wait here, I'm going to sneak around and knock this guy out.
No offense, says the Vanguard, but you're like a foot taller than everybody. If you get around behind him and knock him out, people are going to see you knock him out, and then the whole gang knows you knocked him out.
So we're right.
And how many of you black-haired savages are there in this place?
So those people would be witnesses.
Oh yeah, you're in the middle of a crowded. You're in the middle of a crowded street.
Or he could just conveniently pass out from dehydration.
Iskanara says, "What do you mean?"
Like does he look like he's drunk enough water today? Probably not. So just a little nudge here and he could just conveniently pass out.
Arenjun looks at you, looks at Iskanara, looks back at the Zamarin male and goes, "I really don't follow. What are you talking about doing? Because you've not done this before. They don't know."
I know. And I'm trying to kind of like say it without saying
They don't get it.
I'm trying to be subtle.
Oh, for Christ's sake, why do I have to have all these say something derogatory about foreigners and their inability to pick up on things?
Who is this Christ you speak of?
Iskanara goes, "By Zath, I'm a Zamoran just like you are."
Well, never mind. I know a spell, I guess you could say it, that makes people dehydrated.
Arenjun looks at you and goes, "That's a very odd kind of spell. You don't know anything about, like, summoning demons or seeing the future. You know how to make people thirsty."
Do you have any idea how dangerous dehydration can be? Of course you don't. You're not
Of course
from
I
Zamora.
do. Of course I do. I'm a sailor. You run out of water on the ocean. Yeah. We have a sorcerer in our midst. This is only going to get better. All right, Grand Wizard. Let's see what you can do. She makes a motion like, "After you."
Now, is this what's the effect you're shooting for?
So she has a spell that does
Dehydrating.
bashing damage by dehydrating a target.
Yeah.
Which means he'll drop.
Yep, he'll drop and
But
pass
he
out.
drops, and the people, the passers-by, are still going to see him.
They'll get distracted by him dropping to the ground, which means we can
And
sneak
then we can
in.
sneak in. Okay.
Iskanara goes, "So to do this, you have to, like, chant and make motions.
A few,
They
so...
might see her, and then everyone knows that he's a sorcerer.
So I need a hiding spot.
While you hide him, I'm going to distract the crowd."
Go for it.
Okay. So, I'm going to draw this off on a little map. So basically what you have, and this is what she is saying that you should do, is like if this is the building where he's at, and the mall is close together, so there's lines of buildings, all right?
Mm-hmm.
You have all these streets going through it, and all these crisscross alleys. If he's here, we're going to put her behind some cover so she can do that. Iskanara is going to be over here so that most of the crowd is watching her dance.
Mm-hmm.
And while the crowd in the area is watching her dance, they hopefully won't see our wizard dehydrate this poor bastard. So we're all clear on the plan?
Yep.
Okay.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
So then myself and Frenchman are angling to sneak in?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is so important that Iski probably would spend that to add to her AV because her skill is so high that she could buy the heroic. She'd probably score the heroic on her own. By adding the AV from there, she actually get a chance of getting better success than just the heroic. Damn. Okay. As she walks by, Iskandar touches a guy who's got like, I don't want to describe what kind of musical instruments they have. I don't necessarily have something like a lute. Probably it's more like a bouzeki, the Greek version. She taps the guy and asks for a tune. And then on the street, as people pass through, she like moves her hands up. People just kind of instinctively get out of the way, and she starts spinning and dancing. And everything stops. Like on one whole side street, everything just stops. Everybody watches her. And it's very similar to the dance that she performed before that you all saw. She doesn't get as nude this time because obviously she herself is uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
But as flesh is starting to be revealed and she's starting to gyrate and her hair starts falling, everyone's just like, yeah. You have a distraction. Go ahead and roll your sorcery plus intelligence to cast the spell.
Can I drop this to add to AV?
You're going to add it to the AV of which are you adding it to? The sorcery skill or the effect of the spell?
I have to pick? Shit.
Yeah.
What happens if I add it to the effect of it?
You decrease the effect of the AV of the spell by 2.
By 2.
It's already an AV4 if I remember correctly, isn't it?
I don't have that written down. Oh wait, no, AV2. There it is.
It's AV2, so it increases AV4.
AV4. So, would that mean it'd be like harder for him to overcome?
So when you increase the AV of a spell, if the spell has a resistance, it means it's hard to resist against. The dehydrate spell you have does damage. So rather than roll damage as if it was an AV2 spell, we roll as if it's damage of an AV4 spell.
Could be handy.
Plus, then you have your casting roll. If your casting roll is really good, that jabs the effective AV of it too.
Let's do that.
Okay, so
Hopefully I roll well and not jack. Oh, Jesus.
That's not bad. 14. Sorry, 13.
And I'm on column 9, so that was a heroic.
So you have a heroic on sorcery.
Yeah.
Pull up the sorcery subtable real quick. That adds another 1. So you add 1 to the AV of the spell, which started at 2, it makes it 3, and then the AV for the chip makes it a 5. You now roll on column 5 to produce an effect.
Just a D20?
Yep. Oh, damn!
Do I roll a D6?
Yes, you may. The die came through that time. I didn't see that.
So-
Roll that D6 again. Let's make it really worth it. Give me your damn die. That's better than before. So that was a 22 on column 5, which gives us a total of a dramatic success. Dramatic success is going to be 15 health. The guard, the thief, sits there for a second, and he kind of like wobbles. He's like, what the? You see him kind of like get really woozy, and he staggers out a pace, and it's not enough to knock him out. But because he's obviously now infirm, and this is Arenjun, a bunch of other thieves see, ooh,
Opportunity.
blood in the water, woo, and they rush him. And the next thing you know, he's busy fighting off people picking his pocket, and he's running away chasing somebody who's stolen his purse.
Oh, he's in trouble.
So you didn't quite get the effect you were after, but it still basically worked.
Hey! We have an in now.
You did it.
The dance ends. Iskanara bows to the crowd. She scoops up some of the gold. She comes up and goes, well, we made a little money. And she's got 35 electrum coins in her hands, a couple of silver pieces, and someone so loved her dance they threw her a gold piece.
You're splitting that evenly, right? Or not.
She looks at you. She's like, "What?" Roll an intuition, and it would be. The game doesn't have psychology. It'd be counseling, intuition, and counseling.
I don't have counseling.
So straight intuition.
Really, really
Oh, I
does.
thought it was 15.
You too.
A 5. Yeah, no, I'm oblivious. I have no idea why
Rolling
she's
11s tonight,
looking
like
at me weird.
gangbusters.
Probably a partial.
That's exactly what it is.
You realize that this idea that she could keep her own money has never occurred to her. That's why she's looking at the others.
So I realized that. So I go up to her and say, hand it over. No, I'm just kidding. I would never do that.
And she looks at the money and she's like,
I say to her,
you just know she doesn't understand what you just said.
This
You can't
is-
figure out why.
this is a team effort, girl. You get your part.
Her hands kind of reverently close on the money and she's like, thank you. And she's just stymied. And we're going to pause for a second.